Hello guys, this is your friend Dark Fox Sage. And we are back with our new fanfic, which is What if Naruto gets multiple wives and he rebuilds the Uzumaki clan? Part 1. And if you enjoy this fanfic, then subscribe to the channel, it motivates me to upload more fanfics like these for you all. And check the description, there are many things for you guys. Now let's start the fanfic. The retrieval team that consisted of Hyuga Neji, Nara Shikamaru, Akamichi Choji, Uzumaki Naruto Inuzuka Kiba, and Rock Lee had succeeded in retrieving Uchiha Sasuke to Konohagakure, the village hidden in the leaves. Sasuke's body was injured, but compared to Naruto, Sasuke's injuries were like comparing a finger to an arm. Naruto had huge scars from the two Chidori strikes Sasuke hit him with and a couple of large cuts. The whole team returned with injuries. Lee had a broken arm, Neji and Choji were critically injured, Shikamaru managed to return with a few cuts and scratches, Kiba was injured decently, but not as horribly as Neji. Naruto was actually in the worst condition, but it wasn't visible thanks to the Kyuubi no Yoko, the nine-tailed demon fox. Sasuke had a half-strength Rasengan rammed through his chest, and a couple of cuts and broken bones. Naruto had more broken bones than Sasuke, two full-power Chidoris and more scratches and bruises than Sasuke. Naruto's sensei Hatake Kakashi carried him all the way back to Konoha while the medics carried the rest of the team. When they arrived at the tower, as usual they said that they completed the mission. Sasuke, the precious Uchiha, was strapped to a bed immediately and taken care of, he was still unconscious. Naruto, the demon, had to walk back home and treat himself as the medic refused him treatment. He ran into Sakura on the way home, he put up a smile so Sakura could see that he succeeded in retrieving Sasuke. You did it. You retrieved Sasuke-kun. Sakura's eyes filled with glee. That's right. I always keep my promises, and I never go back on my word no matter what, 'cause that's my ninja way. Naruto declared. Can I go see Sasuke-kun? Sakura asked with hope. Yeah, but he's asleep. Naruto responded. Thank you. Sakura hugged him. Naruto smiled. Finally his life was improving. One day later, the minimally injured members of the Sasuke retrieval team gave the report to Tsunade. Naruto waited for Kakashi in their meeting place, which was training ground number 7. His emotionless face turned into a smile when Sakura came by, but Sakura had an unbelievably horrid frown. Uzumaki Naruto, I thought you were his best friend. How could you hurt him so horribly? It's a miracle all his limbs are intact. Sakura began crying over Sasuke. Sakura-chan, he hurt me bad too. Naruto was just about to show Sakura his scars, when she yelled in pure rage. Never call me that again. You hurt Sasuke-kun so bad that he's unconscious. You're conscious, your wounds are nothing compared to his. I wish you were dead. Don't ever come near me again. Naruto's smile quickly turned into a frown. The frown turned into tears, tears turned into rage, but that rage was suppressed. Naruto turned away and left. He didn't care about missing the meeting, all he cared about was his broken heart, and he left to mend it. A couple of his friends asked what the tears were all about. He said Sakura hated him and told him she didn't want to see him again, because he hurt the Prince of Konoha, Uchiha Sasuke. Sakura went to Ino and started to tell her about Sasuke and Naruto. You know about Sasuke? Sakura asked. Yeah, Hokage-sama said that he should wake up tomorrow. Ino informed her. Well, Naruto hurt him so horribly that I told Naruto that I hated him and never wanted him near me again. Sakura told her friend. You told him that? That was low, Sakura. Ino responded. I don't care. He hurt Sasuke. Sakura said in defense. I care a lot about Sasuke, but you can't shout at Naruto like that. We all know he has a crush on you and you really broke his heart. Ino stated. I told you that I don't care. Sakura left Ino and went back to her house, and her parents congratulated her as they hated Naruto and thought of him as the Kyuubi. In the council room of Konoha a day later, Naruto took a deep breath and entered the council room. He was thinking about why they summoned him, most likely Sasuke. The village definitely couldn't stand by and let their precious Uchiha get hurt. I was summoned here, Naruto formally said. We summoned you here, as you are the cause of Uchiha Sasuke's current condition. Also, Uchiha Sasuke is technically a clan head, due to the Uchiha massacre, and that Itachi is not here. Since he defected, the success of the mission is quite alright, but the way that you completed it is not. We are aware that you used the Kyuubi and that you completely lost yourself and you were unable to stop before you severely injured Uchiha Sasuke. Koharu said. You could also consider Naruto as such since he's the last Namikaze, but you denied him the permission, because of the Kyuubi. If I could, I would rip your head off. Tsunade thought. I was in control the whole time, and I didn't have a choice. Sasuke was using the curse seal level 2, what was I supposed to do? Naruto argued. We are also aware that you used the Kyuubi in Nami no Kuni during an A-rank mission, but Uchiha Sasuke was able to stop you. Koharu continued. It wasn't Sasuke, it was Haku, the enemy. I would have killed him if he wasn't that boy in the forest and Sasuke wasn't even conscious. Naruto defended himself. Don't make false claims, Uzumaki. Koharu said, looking at him with concentrated, angry-looking eyes. No, you shouldn't make false claims. I read that report and it deviated from Kakashi's report. Tsunade defended Naruto. Evidence. Koharu turned to Tsunade. Summon Hatake Kakashi. Tsunade told an Anbu. A few minutes later. This isn't what I wrote. Kakashi looked at the report. What do you mean that isn't what you wrote? Koharu gazed at Kakashi angrily. See, you made a false claim. For this meeting I will remove you from the council. You will be placed with Anbu until further notice, as you have clearly been altering mission reports, and that is a crime that you may spend 1 year in prison for. Tsunade smirked, wondering what she would do to her. Koharu angrily stood up and left with her Anbu escorts. Before she left, she tried to put up a resistance. You can't do that. The third made us his advisors. But I can. Senju Hashirama, my grandfather did say that if a council member is unjust, the Hokage may remove them from the council regardless of their position. Tsunade continued to smirk. We also have to deal with the Akatsuki. They will come after Naruto later and they will attack the village. They are likely incredibly strong if they have S-ranked ninjas such as Hoshigaki Kisame and Uchiha Itachi with them. They could cause plenty of lives to be lost, all because of the Kyuubi container. Homura continued. Naruto gulped. He scanned the room to see everyone with straight faces. Naruto did not like where this was going. Tsunade also had a bad feeling. Naruto glanced across the room, looking at the council. Haruno Kazashi, Nara Shikaku, Shimura Danzo, Homura Mikitado, Akechi Itsuki, Yamanaka Inoichi, Inazuka Sume, Sarutobi Asuma, Hyuga Hiyashi, Senju Tsunade, Sanjo Masaru, Shirai Yuta, Akamichi Choza, Aburame Shibi, Uchiha Sasuke and the Anbu commander made up Konoha's council. You can't mean you're gonna make Naruto suffer for all the Uchiha's crap. Tsunade yelled. No, but I think we should banish the Kyuubi container to eliminate the possibility of Konoha being in danger against a couple of S-ranked missing ninja that could mean our deaths. Homura smirked evilly. Impossible. I refuse to comply with your idiocy. Tsunade yelled. She hated the fact that they were trying to go pin all of Sasuke's stupidity on Naruto, but now they were talking about banishment. That's plain stupid. Well, you have to. This village was founded on the principles that if the Hokage refused to comply with the council can overrule the Hokage with votes. Danzo hid a smirk. I don't see what this is all about. So troublesome. If you banish him, you basically give Akatsuki, the nine-tailed fox, the most powerful demon in existence. If they have that power under control, then they could easily throw any of the elemental nations down to the ground like they did with Konoha. Who knows what they have planned with it? What if they want to control the world? If they are collecting biju, then they might manage to do that. Shikaku explained the idiocy of Kaharu and Homura. We have a plan for them. Danzo said. What plan is that? Tsunade yelled, still enraged. Well, since you are completely biased against the Kyuubi container, we cannot tell you. Danzo hid another smirk, while Tsunade resisted the urge to send him flying to Suna. Naruto's hope shattered completely and he resisted breaking down, as he waited for his doom. The vote started. Do we banish him or not? Yes or no? Homura said. Yes, because of putting Konoha in danger against the Akatsuki, and the inability to control the Kyuubi properly. Danzo said. Yes, my reasons are the same as Danzo's as they are quite reasonable. Homura smirked. He hated that boy, and he lost his only son to the Kyuubi and saw Naruto as the Kyuubi incarnate that had the power to corrupt people. Tsunade of the Sannin was an example, as was Jiraiya. Naruto sighed, already 2 versus 0. No, because he is a loyal shinobi that has done nothing wrong and you lot are cowards without guts. Tsunade boomed. No, while what Kaharu-san and Homura-san said is true, what Shikaku-san said is also true, whatever Akatsuki is planning, nothing good can come out of it. Aburame Shibi said. Naruto's heart lifted up, it was 2 against 2. No, you're troublesome, he's troublesome, this whole thing is troublesome, but it isn't smart to banish him, and if we end up doing so, something bad will come out of it. Shikaku stated. Naruto was in the lead now, but the civilians had yet to vote. Yes, he corrupts people and is a bad influence, hurry up and get rid of him. Haruno Kazashi, Sakura's father, smiled evilly. He had gone to Sarutobi many times to remove Sakura from Naruto's team, but he refused, making Kazashi angry. He thought the boy was a demon, like the majority of civilian population. Yes, he should go, as we are no strong enough to beat the Akatsuki now since the Sand and Sound invasion has weakened us. Hyuga Hiyashi stated. Naruto's heart went down once again. No, as Tsunade-sama said, he is a loyal shinobi who didn't do anything wrong and has completed all his missions successfully up to date. He is a good person and it would be wrong to banish him. Sarutobi Asuma said. Yes, he is a danger to our village and needs to be gone. Sanjo Masaru said. Yes, he should die in a hole like the demon he is. Shirai Yuta, a wealthy businessman who hated Naruto for the Kyuubi, said. No, he's much more loyal than that stupid Uchiha he brought back home. Inoichi said. No, I agree with the Yamanaka and Nara clan's reasons. Choza stated. Yes, Uchiha Sasuke says yes. Danzo said. How? Tsunade asked furiously. Considering the state of the Uchiha the Kyuubi container left him in, it would make him automatically banish the container. Danzo explained. Tsunade growled. A couple of council members agreed with Danzo. Naruto's heart fell. He was sure Sasuke would agree to banish him, because he was a power-hungry fool. It was currently 6 vs 7, he was quite close to banishment. No, he may be the Kyuubi, but if Akatsuki gets him, it will be a repeat of the Kyuubi attack. Akechi Itsuki declared, surprising everyone. It was 7 vs 7 and the last vote by the Anbu commander, would Naruto stay or not. His mind knew it was a 50-50 chance. Yes. Naruto almost fell to the floor. Tsunade and the rest of the council voted for keeping Naruto, had the same reaction. Naruto would have been lucky, because Anbu don't show emotion. But the commander had an unbelievable bias against the Kyuubi as he didn't have any family because of it. Naruto's dream was shattered, he had to leave the village and could never be Hokage, he could never use chakra again either, and he would easily be hunted down by the Akatsuki. He would never know his parents unless he got a huge idea. Even though everyone he asked about it never told him, he would know. Tsunade was on the brink of crying, but she suppressed it. Okay. Then Uzumaki Naruto is banished. He will leave the day after tomorrow at the first signs of sunlight, where we'll announce his banishment to the rest of his village. Take him and put the chakra seals on him and make sure he can't reveal anything about the village. Homura evilly smiled. Troublesome little craps. Shikaku muttered. Later, Naruto's apartment. Naruto finished packing his few belongings and decided to begin telling people, when suddenly Konohamaru and his friends knocked on the door. Naruto opened the door. Konbanwa, good evening, Oyabun, boss. Konohamaru enthusiastically said. Sorry Konohamaru, but I gotta tell you something. Naruto gloomily replied. What is it, boss? Konohamaru asked with the same enthusiasm. I've been banished from the village, I can't come back after the day after tomorrow. Naruto stuttered. What? I'll kill whoever authorized this, namely the old Baa-chan. Konohamaru yelled. His friends wore an expression between shock and anger. Calm down Konohamaru. Naruto placed his hand on the 8-year-old's shoulder. Calm down. How can you be so calm? You just got banished from the village. Konohamaru yelled again. It's because I know there's nothing I can do about it. And you don't need to kill Ba-chan, she didn't want me to go, but the council introduced this thing, where the majority wins. Naruto stated. Naruto grabbed his headband and made a slash on the leaf sign. I'm not a shinobi of this village anymore, tell that to everyone. Naruto told the Konohamaru Corps. The hospital the next day at the morning. What happened and why am I in the hospital? Sasuke groaned. Sakura was at Sasuke's side. That no-name loser called Naruto got banished, Sasuke-kun, caused he hurt you so bad that he was exiled. But don't worry Sasuke-kun, I'm here with you. Sakura shouted in joy. Naruto, banished. I always knew he was a dobi. I need power and that no-name dobi has too much. Sasuke got up from his bed. Maybe we can go out together. Sakura said. Yes. Now that Naruto's not disrupting my plans, Sasuke will finally see me. Shut up Sakura, I need power. Sasuke jumped out the window. Ichiraku Ramen. The second people to know outside the council were Tsuki and Ayame. They banished you. Tsuki yelled out surprised by the whole thing. How could they? Ayame yelled in fury. Sorry, but there's a chance I won't ever return to Konoha again, so I guess this is my second last meal in Konoha and my last in Ichiraku. Naruto stated. Naruto was given a buffet pass for free, so he ate all the ramen he could as it was the last time he would be in Ichiraku ramen. Goodbye Ayame-ne-chan, Tsuki-san. Naruto waved goodbye as Tsuki and Ayame broke down. Meeting place 5 p.m. 13 hours before banishment. Naruto had called for one last meeting and told Konohamaru and his corp that they had a mission, which was to round up all the members in Iruka and tell them that he was banished. Konohamaru did so. Everyone came, except Kakashi, Sasuke and Sakura. All of them were more or less angry with the council. Each of them gave Naruto a present. Team 10 started. Asuma gave him cigarettes for some odd reason and told him not to smoke until 16. Ino gave him a few special flowers from her shop. Choji gave him 3 bags of potato chips, and Shikamaru gave him a set of shogi, telling him if he ever found anyone to play with he might as well play with them. Team 8 went next. Kurenai gave him a book. It was called 99 Ways to Beat Up Perverts. Naruto grinned at the title. Shino gave him an encyclopedia on bugs telling him to remember him by it. Kiba told him that it was stupid that he got banished and he might as well enjoy life as a civilian since he didn't have a choice, and gave him a copy of the collection of paw prints that he collected. Hinata gave him a taijutsu scroll shyly telling him that if he came across bandits or robbers he could fight against them better. In reality she was just trying to protect Naruto. Team Guy was the last and they noticed the absence of Kakashi. Kakashi was obviously told, but he only cared about his precious Uchiha. Sakura was in a tantrum and Sasuke didn't really care. This is most unyouthful that my eternal rival is not here. His fires of youth have been dampened, and we will train 3 times harder so our fires of youth are not dampened. Guy declared. Hi Guy Sensei. Lee. Guy Sensei. Lee. Guy Sensei. Lee. Guy Sensei. Lee and Guy finally separated after a fatherly hug. Train with fires of youth Naruto-san. Guy handed out a green spandex. Thanks Guy. Naruto took the green spandex out of the hand. Naruto-san, the fires of youth burn within you. Lee held out a book. How to Train with the Fires of Youth, was its title. Thanks Lee, Naruto replied. Uzumaki-san, I defied fate thanks to you and you were a wonderful person, I will miss you. Neji held out cookies that he made himself. We may not have known each other well, but I know you were a prankster and I'll miss you too. Tenten gave Naruto a case. He opened it and found a sword. It was well made, with high-quality metal. Naruto immediately stabbed his hand. I'm leaving now, but I'll be back, not to come back to the village, but to make the council suffer. Naruto declared in an angry tone. Everyone who knew Naruto was shocked. Naruto was a smiling, silly ninja, who was naive and thought he could save anyone. He never thought of revenge. That fell into Sasuke's line of thinking. Iruka was the last one to say goodbye, and they all took turns hugging him and saying their goodbyes. They all swore to annoy the council members against Naruto at every possible time, even Shino. He threw his orange jumpsuit on the ground as a memento of himself. When everyone left, Naruto packed everything in his bag and rested a little. -2 hours later, 8 p.m. Tsunade-sama stopped drinking. Shizune the apprentice to the Sannin yelled. Always taking people away. I don't wanna live in this stupid village anymore. I refuse, so I decided that I'm leaving and protecting Naruto. He's almost like a son. He's the closest thing I have to a family besides you. And I'm not leaving him to rot against the Akatsuki. We're both part Uzumaki and we are connected through Mito Ba-chan. So in a distant way, Naruto is related to my grandfather. Tsunade stated. Then what will happen to the leaf? You have to stay. Shizune argued. No. The leaf doesn't deserve me. I'm leaving no matter what. Even if Naruto is gone right now, I will find him and I will tell him about his parents. I don't care about what the council says, because he will be out of their jurisdiction in 10 hours. Tsunade yelled back. Tsunade-sama, what about the people? Shizune asked. They have my permission to rot in hell. Tsunade glared at her apprentice. Why? The apprentice asked. They're just as rotten as crap. You know Naruto's daily abuse, am I right? Tsunade responded. Yeah. Shizune had to admit that her master had a point. I'm leaving. Pack your things, Shizune. We leave at right before sunrise. Tsunade stated. 9 p.m. Gates of Konoha. Jiraiya-san, did you hear the good news? The demon has been banished. The guard Chunin jumped in joy. Demon. Jiraiya's fist hit the stomach of the Chunin and he coughed up blood. I can't believe those council rats. Well, I'm not staying here. I lost my only purpose to now. Even if it means missing Nin. Jiraiya narrowed his eyes. Sorry Minato, but the council has made chaos and therefore nothing ties me here. Not duty, not responsibility, not anything. Jiraiya decided to get some information about the banishment and also decided not to miss the chance to peep his last time in Konohagakure. 12 a.m. Hokage Tower. Sure, his chakra was sealed, but he was going to go through every last one of Ba-chan's files of himself to find out who his dad and mom were. He was still quite good without chakra. He could paint the Hokage monument with an orange jumpsuit and have 12 Chunin chasing him. What couldn't he do without it? He snuck out of his apartment and got to the Hokage Tower. 4 Chunin were guarding it. It was quite simple to get past them. He snuck into the tower using a hole, which led him to the basement. The Hokage's files were at the very top of the tower and there were 7 floors. The first floor only had a jonin that was working late and he was sleeping on his desk, so Naruto easily got to the second floor. The second floor was completely empty and the third and fourth floors were quite easy to cross. The fifth floor and sixth floors weren't heavily guarded and Naruto slipped past. At the seventh, in the Hokage's office, he saw two figures smirking at him. Why? But as he approached, Ba-chan, Ero Sennin, Naruto asked, "Huh, brat, guess what? We're leaving with you." Jiraiya said, "Huh, but Ba-chan's the Hokage." Naruto liked the idea, but then the Hokage would be gone. Screw the village, and all the people. Tsunade said the exact opposite of what she was supposed to say, as the Hokage. "What are ya gonna do after you leave the village?" Jiraiya asked. "Huh, I never really thought about it. My original plan was to go to Tazuna and Inari, but now that Ero Sennin's here I can be a ninja. First I wanna know who my parents are." Naruto stepped forward. Parents? Jiraiya was slightly surprised as he thought the lie he gave would shut him up. Flashback. Ero Sennin, who were my parents? Naruto asked. Just go back to your toad training. Jiraiya sighed. No, I will bother you and put posters up about you being a perverted old man and spoil your reputation until you tell me. Naruto threatened. Fine, I don't know your parents. Jiraiya replied. Naruto grumpily turned away. End of flashback. Take this. Tsunade gave him 2 letters. Jiraiya automatically put his hand on Tsunade's wrist. You can't be serious. Jiraiya said. I am. I think he deserves to know. Delaying it would be delaying the inevitable and he'll never get these again tomorrow. Tsunade stated. You win. Jiraiya turned around in defeat. Naruto began to read. He took the letter out of the envelope and began reading the first letter. Son, if you are reading this now, Jiraiya sensei has deemed you ready. I am your father. I don't have much time to write this, but please forgive me for sealing the Kyuubi into you. I didn't have a choice. I can't force another parent to make a sacrifice I can't make myself. And as Hokage I must protect the village. Sarutobi should have taken care of you and Kakashi should have also taken care of you. Jiraiya is out on a large mission and likely didn't come back until you are 12. Since you have this letter, you have permission to take full control of the Namikaze estate. My last wish is that others saw you as a hero who helped defeat the Kyuubi. You are allowed to take the Hiraishin scroll from the estate and the Rasengan scroll, in case you haven't learned it already from Jiraiya. You also have the permission to take the rest of your inheritance, hidden in the same place. To get there simply look for an inscription that says, Skill, in the upper rooms. I haven't told Kakashi that you are my son, but I did tell him to take care of you. I had a great deal of enemies and I wanted to wait till you could defend yourself before knowing. Goodbye, I hope you forgive me someday. Namikaze Minato. The 4th Hokage. Well dad, they saw me as a demon and they gave me a ramshackle apartment. And I didn't get a single ryo of that inheritance. Naruto grumbled. About the first half, the council took it from Sarutobi and spent it as soon as they got their hands on it 12 years ago. Tsunade explained. Being Hokage or ex-Hokage, she knew these things. So, aren't you gonna read the second letter? Jiraiya questioned. Naruto growled at him and simply started reading. Sochi, if you are reading this now, the unforgivable pervert, Jiraiya has deemed you ready to read. Like Minato, I don't have much time to write this either. I wrote this in case of my death at the hands of the Kyuubi. Unlike Minato, I'm not naive and I know that you will be treated like dirt and you will be scorned by the villagers. I can only hope that Kakashi and Sarutobi can give you a comfortable home. You might not have any friends, because the hostility of the villagers, but I know that there are a few people who are reasonable and aren't hostile. Among those people find a few friends that you can really trust. If things get out of hand and the council members force you out of the village, use Uzushiogakure as a temporary refuge, or the ruins of it at least. Long ago the Uzumaki clan built a strong refuge in time of natural calamity, but there was an earthquake which wiped Uzushiogakure off the map. No one except me made it there, but we were short of everything and I was scared. I was only 8 years old then, and everything was gone. I made it to Konoha and they took me in, since I was a member of a dead clan as far as they were concerned. I would love to write more, but I'm running out of time. As I said, go to Uzushiogakure at some point and claim your legacy. Uzumaki Kushina. Of the Uzumaki clan, I have a plan. Naruto began explaining his plan. I will go, and thank you mom. 2 a.m. Namikaze Estate. So we're here, now what? Jiraiya stared at the huge dusty door. We sneak in. Tsunade suggested. No, that won't work, Minato was too good for that. Jiraiya stated. I'm a Namikaze so this should work. Naruto took out his sword and stabbed himself and put his blood on the seal. Good work. I forgot that I was allowed in the Namikaze estate so I could have done that too. Jiraiya said. No you couldn't. Minato hated unexpected visitors and would always adjust the seal, and he probably adjusted the seal again to make sure you couldn't get in. Tsunade stated. Anyway, let's go. For the next hour they were trying to find the stone that had secrets engraved on it. Naruto took the chance to take some things from there, like journals so he could know his parents better. January 8th. I managed to fend off the ninjas from Iwagakure again. Everyone including Shikaku and Inoichi threw another party to celebrate the defeat of the Iwa Nin battalion. I wonder when I'll see Kushina-chan again. Also Sarutoi wants me to assist some waterfall ninja next week, since more Iwa Nins decided to attack them. January 14th. I successfully defeated some rogue ninja trying to steal food at camp. They were easy to beat. Kakashi is improving, but as always, his stubbornness and arrogance could cost lives, so he isn't ready for Jonin. Maybe in a few months, but not now. January 25th. I'm the Yellow Flash now for some reason. All my peers are calling me that ever since I killed 300 Iwa Nins at the fortress. I don't even like that name. In Kushina-chan's letters she calls me Hedgehog and that's bad enough. Yellow hedgehogs don't even exist. Another party was held, due to my birthday. March 11th. Finally, after 9 months at the battlefield, I can see Kushina-chan again. My forces met up with hers as backup in the ruins of Uzu no Kuni as a staging point against the Rock Nins. Naruto flipped a couple of pages. Today was a horrible day. Obito died, Rin went into depression and Kakashi got his eye slashed and replaced with the Sharingan. I respect the words of Obito, those who abandon the rules are scum, but those who abandon their comrades are worse than scum. Obito he seems like a good person, he's way better than Hatake will ever be. Naruto snarled. Here's mom's journal. February 2nd. Found out I'm pregnant. The doctor said that it was too early to know whether it would be a girl or a boy, but I don't really care right now, but wait. In 5 months I'll only be allowed to do D ranks no. Naruto looked at a picture in the photo frame. There were 2 people within it. One had red hair that was so long the end couldn't be seen in the picture and the other had spiky hair like him, but he had chin-length bangs. They looked so happy together, it was a shame they died. Found the place Naruto, hurry up and get here. Jiraiya yelled. Naruto stuffed the books into a bag he brought for grabbing things that actually belonged to him. Yeah. Naruto stared at the stone inscription. Hurry up and stab yourself and trace it with your blood. Tsunade said. Okay. Naruto did exactly as he was told and the inscription lighted up and the stone tunneled into the ground leaving a pathway. The 3 followed the pathway until they came to a dimly lit room with 2 pedestals and a chest. The chest contained 250 million ryo in cash and there were 2 scrolls on the pedestals. Naruto snatched the Hiraishin scroll, but left the Rasengan scroll, as he didn't need it. How do we fit all the money? Tsunade asked Jiraiya. We stuff it into our bags of course. Naruto answered. Hold on, brat. You might fit 50 million ryo in there, but the rest is going to be sealed into my scroll. Alright, pervert, but if you spend a single ryo, you'll wish you never existed. Tsunade glared. Now all we gotta do is pack our things and head to Uzushiogakure. Jiraiya said, leaving the box empty. Let's get out of here. Tsunade said. Brat, let me remove that seal. Jiraiya bent down to Naruto's level. When Jiraiya finished removing both Danzo's tongue seal and the chakra seal, they had no further business doing anything here. So they all simply left the estate hanged, in case anyone saw them on the street. Gates of Konoha, 4:30 a.m. Are we all set? From here on out we are missing ninja. Tsunade told her apprentice. Are we gonna do what we did last time? Shizune asked. No, we're never coming back here unless we are Kage, and it's obligatory. We have a destination, Uzushiogakure, the land of whirlpools. We also have to train Naruto, because of the Akatsuki. Tsunade explained. Let's go. Naruto whispered, looking at the sky. He could tell the sun was rising, thanks to the light in the sky. He didn't want to be there for the banishment. You heard the brat. Jiraiya began pushing the great gates when they saw Izumo and Kotetsu approaching. Stop it. You have to wait till the banishment ceremony. And what are you two doing here, Jiraiya-sama, Hokage-sama? Shit. Move it, Jiraiya. Tsunade pushed her teammate out of the way and forced the doors open. Stop it, Hokage-sama. You are not allowed to leave the village. Stop or I will call the Anbu. Kotetsu shouted. Kage Bunshin no Jutsu, Shadow Clone Technique. Naruto, sensing the danger, catapulted himself through the gates and into a huge forest. Damn, brat left us to fend for ourselves. Tsunade groaned. A couple of Anbu surrounded the two Sannin. Surrender now and you will not be hurt. The Anbu leader said. In your dreams. The Sannin began to fight them. Kaden. Enden fire release. Flame bullet. Jiraiya spat out a large fireball while Tsunade punched the leader into the ground, making him break a couple of bones. What chance do we have against two Sannin? One Anbu said, making the rest flee. If I know the kid, he's already pretty far from the 5-minute head start, and if he went by catapulting himself, then he didn't leave a scent. Jiraiya informed his teammate. We gotta find him. We have the map to Uzushio. The three left to find Naruto. The Great Forest, 4:40 a.m. Naruto sat down to rest and sent a few shadow clones to guard the area, when he and his shadow clones sensed 3 chakra natures. Then he saw 2 figures. Damn it, Ba-chan, Arrow Sennin, hurry up and find me, I won't manage against 2 Akatsuki members. Naruto, come with us. Itachi spoke to the figure carrying a big backpack. In your dreams. Kage Bunshin no Jutsu, Shadow Clone Technique. Naruto created 80 clones so Itachi couldn't risk using Tsukuyomi or Amaterasu. Kisame and Itachi dissipated all the most of the clones until they were striking at the real one. I'm finished. Sorry mom, sorry dad. Just as Itachi was about to strike at Naruto with a kunai, the whole area illuminated and Itachi was hit by a huge lightning bolt that nearly killed him. The same happened to Kisame. They fled. A person appeared after the light faded. The person had brown hair that was spiky and he had custom body armor with a shiny katana. Telling by his face he was at least 40 years old. Who are you? Naruto hesitated to ask thanks to the overpowering aura around him. No, who are you? Judging by your techniques you are likely a ninja, but no forehead protector, meaning that you are exiled and you got rid of the chakra seal. The man said. I'm Namikaze Uzumaki Naruto. Naruto answered, still scared. That was because he didn't know the man and he was so powerful he would likely wipe the floor with him. I'm Kazuki, the man replied. So what's Minato's kid doing outside of Konoha, banished for some reason? Kazuki asked. You knew my dad? Naruto asked. Yup. Minato went to the academy with me. Kazuki replied. Then aren't you supposed to be with Bastard Leaf? Naruto asked a question. No, I supposedly died in the Third Shinobi World War. Kazuki explained. Why didn't you go back to the leaf? Naruto asked. I didn't want to. I was healed by a traveling medic who was quite good at medical ninjutsu, and she was also a young one, around 30 years old. I left and started to roam around until I signed a summoning contract with the wolves. I stayed in their domain for 2 years and then started traveling. After that, I wanted to get stronger and learned how to handle a sword under a skilled swordsman. It took 2 years to fully do that and I became good with the sword. I then improved my fuinjutsu under another master of fuinjutsu and that took 1 year. I was 26 then. My dream was to make my own village and I didn't want any affiliations. I went under genjutsu training until I was 28 and ninjutsu and taijutsu training until I was 30. I continued to travel the world and became very knowledgeable about it and its hate. By the time you were born, I had absolutely no will to return to Konoha. Kazuki told his story. I'm gonna wait a bit till Ero Sennin and Ba-chan come here. Naruto said. I'm gonna wait too, I wanna see who they are. Kazuki yawned and sat down with Naruto. The Great Forest 5 a.m. How could you abandon us to the Anbu? Tsunade yelled in a monstrous voice making everyone shiver. Hi Tsunade-sama, Kazuki waved. Huh, but you died. Jiraiya pointed at him. Well, since I've got nothing to do, I'm traveling with you. Kazuki grinned. What? All three of them shouted together. I guess we could let him. Naruto decided. Fine, but I've got my eye on you. Tsunade grumbled. Okay. Shizune said. So where are we going? The spiky-haired man asked. Uzushiogakure. Why would you go there? It's gone. Kazuki asked. To make it our refuge, I plan to make a new village over there, which outshines Konoha. There won't be any secret organizations or anything bad. Naruto explained. A naive dream, but it might work if we take our time. Kazuki said. Konohagakure 7 a.m. So Tsunade left. Danzo muttered looking at the Anbu reports. He tried hard to suppress a grin that came to his face, but he failed. I will be the Rokudaime then. 8 a.m. Training Ground 9. Naruto's gone, was all on Kakashi's mind. The Dobi ran away, what a hypocrite. I'll never run away. Sasuke spoke. That demon got what he deserved. Sakura growled. Don't get so happy, Sakura. Tsunade-sama and Jiraiya-sama went with him. That means Konoha just lost two extremely valuable shinobi. Kakashi said. Damn it, I was planning to make her train me. Sakura scowled. Konoha lost the Godaime, so now it needs a Rokudaime. Kakashi spoke. It seems that the precious Uchiha was discharged like nothing happened. Neji voice was heard behind the three. Sakura grumbled. Sasuke glared and Kakashi didn't have an expression. It was truly unyouthful to banish Naruto-san. Lee and Guy said together. I also think that banishing Naruto was bad. Tenten spoke. You know who the source is. Neji glared at Sasuke. You are partially to blame, because if you never ran away to Orochimaru in pursuit of your stupid power, then Naruto wouldn't be gone. Neji continued speaking. You're as much as Adobe as Naruto is, the only thing that matters in this world is power. Sasuke stated. Everyone except Sakura glared at Sasuke. Sasuke, don't go overboard, was all Kakashi could say. And you too, Hatake and Haruno, you didn't care about Naruto enough to attend his last meeting where he said goodbye to all of us. Neji finished. I had to. Kakashi began. Save your excuses, Hatake, your sensei would be ashamed of you. Neji turned away and left. It was most unyouthful of you to do so, you have much too little youth to be considered my rival. Guy told him disappointedly. Your team is too unyouthful. Lee said and left. Hatake-san, you should have at least said goodbye to Naruto. Tenten voiced her disappointment like the rest of your team. Kakashi hoped that he wouldn't get a bunch of lectures and anger directed at him later on, but that was not to be. Later that day 10 a.m. Kakashi, maybe you aren't cut out to be a Jonin instructor. Asuma told him. Yeah, what kind of teacher plays favorites like that? You made it clear you hated Naruto, the only thing you taught him was tree climbing. And that was because you were forced to, as a team of Genins must learn tree climbing on their first mission outside of the village. You taught him nothing of your own free will, maybe you should just go back to Anbu. You taught the Uchiha your favorite technique and a couple of jutsu. And you taught the civilian how to do genjutsu, you only taught them their strengths, what the hell? Kurenai finished throwing her anger at Kakashi. Thanks a lot Kurenai, Kakashi muttered. He was quite traumatized by Obito and Rin's death, and now everyone was bugging him about Naruto. So he made up his mind and did what he was told to do. He called a meeting with Team 7 or what was left of it. Training Ground 7 1 p.m. Kakashi-sensei. Sakura looked worried about Kakashi, but in reality that was to maintain a good image of herself. Listen, I'm quitting Team 7. Kakashi's words shocked Sakura. Sasuke didn't really care though. That's it, Sasuke said. No, before that I'll say that I'm sorry I failed you as a sensei. Kakashi apologized. Yeah, you better be sorry, you didn't teach me a single useful jutsu. Sasuke said. I should have known you were an ungrateful little child. Kakashi was somewhat furious that Sasuke called the Chidori useless. What did you call me? Sasuke bursted out. Kakashi groaned and left. Hyuga Mansion 9 p.m. Father, I heard you were part of the group who banished Naruto. Why? Hinata asked without stuttering as she was given courage by Naruto. He was a weak fool with too much emotion and Konohagakure would be a lot better off without him in the village and your stupid crush turned you into a weak pathetic little idiot. Hiashi scolded Hinata. Hinata started crying and then she stabbed her hand, much like Naruto, swearing to get stronger and to make her father eat those words. Neji came in and asked the same question to his uncle. His uncle simply said that he put Konoha in danger. When Neji asked how, he was denied an answer. Neji saw the blood on Hinata's hand and asked her what it was. He was given this answer. Hinata said that she vowed to make her father eat the words that Naruto was a weak fool. Hinata ran off to find someone to train her. A few days later, we're finally here, Uzushiogakure.